I couldn't have made this record without Eric. Eric Valentine was, my management had given me a box filled with CDs that covered most of the rock and roll records that had come out in the last almost 10 years, you know, like all these different bands. You know, trying to find a record that really stood out in my mind as being like a really great sounding rock and roll record. The best one in there was Queens of the Stone Age, Songs from the Deaf, or Songs for the Deaf. And then that was one of my favorite records, and Eric Valentine had done it. And then he'd also done Smash Mouth, which was like way on the other side of this, you know, on the other side of the spectrum. And All American Rejects. So I was like, this guy's got a diverse sensibility, which is exactly what this record needed. So I called him up, and he came down, and I gave him the 20 song list of demos, you know, or 20 song demo. And, you know, he took it home, and he called me up, and he just, something in his tone said that he got it. He really understood what we were doing. And he had his own studio, which was a killer, funky old place in Hollywood. And he, you know, because he owned it, we weren't sort of like stuck to any particular schedule, because this was a hard record to totally know exactly which day you were going to be working, and, you know, which day the singer was going to be there and all that kind of stuff. So we were flying by the seat of our pants. And so basically we started with We're All Gonna Die with Iggy Pop, and just Eric Valentine's input totally understood where I was coming from, and anything he had to say to contribute ideas was totally in sync with what I was doing. It wasn't like some producers whose egos sort of take over the sound of a record in the process of making it and take it away from being actually the artist's record. So that was a huge blessing. And we both wanted to do it analog. So very cool. They play on every track with the exception of Watch This, which is Dave Grohl and Duff McKagan. And then there is a song called Starlight that Steve Ferrone played drums on, because Josh was out of town. That was actually the second to last song on the record that we recorded. And those guys really made, Chris and Josh made the record really sort of painless. I mean, because all I had were a lot of makeshift demos, right? And that's what I was sending to singers and crossing my fingers and hope that they'd get it. And what we would do was just take this demo and just play it first thing in the afternoon when we got to the studio, and then put the song together instrumentally that afternoon and have it done by 6 o'clock in the evening, you know? So those guys were phenomenal. All right, so this is the first single off of my new solo record. This is a riff from the song called By the Sword, and I wrote it with Andrew Stockdale from Wolfmother. Very beginning of it goes like this. And then it goes into the first verse, which is... The thing about doing it on electric, there's two ways of doing it. There's the way I did it on the acoustic, which is... That's one way of playing it, and then I doubled it by going... So it just makes it that much more solid. And the verse riff is basically the same. The only difference about that is that I did it with the verse with a wah-wah pedal. So this is the bridge section right before the guitar solo for By the Sword. That's basically it. Yeah. First thing that I hear once I've actually got the chord structure down, I just go for it. And 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what's on the record. And so like if I go and play it again, I know what it sounds like. And, you know, I might, by the time I've done a couple takes, fixed a couple notes here or there that I hear. But, this record in particular was almost what you call sort of demo love. Like all the sort of random first takes that I did making the demos were great. So I just sort of kept it within that theme.